I guess I don't like to think of myself as a singer. I don't like labeling myself as a singer.
Okay.
My Instagram page, I started it senior year of college. It was just for fun, honestly. It was so stressful during college. It was more for my mental health when I had created it. I'll do South Indian. Let me choreograph this.
Yeah.
And there were like 6 people that signed up for South
Okay.
Indian. And that was obviously much less than the people that were in the other dances.
Right.
And I remember being like, it's okay. Like if there's less people, like I really want to do this.
Of
And
course.
like, I want to be the person that just starts it, or else like if nobody starts it, like, we're just never going to have a South Indian. Hey, like all these people are here to party. I know you guys know these Telugu songs and these Tamil songs. So
Right.
I'm just going to sing it for you. And I know you're going to have fun. And people did. I sang Arabic Kuttu and Uantava along with
Nice.
some Bollywood stuff like Rangi Sari and all of
Right.
those.
Right.
But I really like being that representation. Instead of like when I'm at an event, I'm like, oh, like there's no Tamil music here. I'm like, okay, what about like in the next event? Like I tried to make that and I tried to be that Tamil person.
Yeah. Welcome to the arrambam show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome because I saw you perform at Masala Mixtape and saw the recordings and all that stuff. And then we connected through a bunch of the arrambam stuff. And it was exciting because you were our headliner in some sense for the October show. So excited to have you on the podcast here.
No, I'm actually really excited. It's cool to see like someone that like found you from some other event,
Right.
And like likes you, and then you're DMing me, and now we're sitting here making a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And gonna hear more about your story, which I think I know tidbits about, but I realize like I don't know the full where you got started and things like that. So that's awesome. Again, welcome.
No,
cool.
Thank you.
Sweet. Well, let's get started. I think most people we're listening to this probably know who you are, but for those who may not, or to hear from your own words, who is Shivaani?
Okay. Well, I guess I don't like to think of myself as a singer. I don't like labeling myself as a singer.
Okay.
But I'm someone who likes to sing.
Okay.
Or rather loves to sing and perform and create music, just be creative in different ways, dance, all those kind of things.
Right.
Mainly I sing Tamil music, of course, but I sing a lot of Bollywood, some Telugu music as well. I guess music has always been my way of, music and films have always been my way of staying in touch with just being Indian, being Tamil, whatever that means to everyone, like watching movies growing up. And I think the music has always been the main part though, because I was a dancer also growing up, right?
Oh,
so
nice.
Dancing, listening to music, and then never thought I would end up in New York City performing in these events.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
That's awesome.
Right.
We'll have to dig into all of that here. So much there. So Shivaani is not just a singer, not just a dancer, a musician, a creator. I love it.
There we go.
That's awesome. So walk us through. What is your story? Where'd you grow up? How'd you end up here in New York?
Yeah. So I came to New York because of my job, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Classic software developer, computer science major that ended up here. And I had my Instagram page. I think I started it senior year of college.
Okay.
It was just for fun, honestly. It was so stressful during college. So I was like, okay, let me create a music page and just like, now I'm setting aside time to learn a song and post it. And honestly, it was more for my mental health when I had created it.
Yeah.
And
this is an undergrad or?
In undergrad, yeah.
In undergrad, okay.
So that was kind of like my outlet at that time. And I was on my DC acapella team as well.
Okay.
Met I think that's when I started really getting into film music as well. I met a lot of Telugu girls, like South Indian people, Telugu, Tamil on my team. And I was like, oh, okay. So you can sing this music, like Telugu music, Tamil music, and people will still like it because they're people like you on this team.
Yeah.
And
did you guys sing like South Indian songs on the team, or was it mostly like Bollywood or?
On my year, we didn't sing South Indian songs, but I think the year before they had used some Telugu song as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I think that also has to do with team dynamic and like who's arranging. Do they know Telugu songs? Do they know Tamil songs? But when you're just having fun, I think like with these like competitive teams like acapella or like dance, it's not always about doing the competition, but just about the community that you have with you and the team. And I think just having like other team members that are singing was a big one. So I think dancing was like, it's always the priority when in like I saw and things like that, there was always like dance, but there's not always music, like singing.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm here, and I think initially I was just posting covers also
Okay.
on
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media. And then post COVID, Masala Mixtape was my first kind of like event that I performed at.
Nice. Does that mean before COVID you had performed at events outside of like the
Um,
team?
no, I
Okay.
hadn't, because I graduated in 2019.
Okay.
So I had about like almost a year before COVID hit. So I didn't really do anything in that time. And then during COVID, obviously, I did nothing
Of
again.
course.
I did actually during COVID, I got into recording music for the first
Oh,
time,
nice.
because that's when I really made connections on Instagram, like people from India, people from like UK, all of that. And I released a single that I sang for someone. It wasn't my own company.
Oh, nice. And
And
how did that come about? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them?
they reached out to me on Instagram because we were already kind of connected. Like I had been liking his posts, and he had like, we'd been commenting on this thing, things like that. And just like mutually it kind of came about.
That's amazing.
And he had a song, and I think it's very close to my heart. It was like I spent a lot of months on it, and he kind of like taught me how do you emote in a song that's your own, right? Because when you make cover songs, you're kind of recreating what's there.
Right.
And that's its own like tough thing on its own. But
But you have like a framework. You follow the
Exactly.
singers. There's a sense and there's a vibe.
Yeah, you sing it like them, or you know what the emotion is. But when it's
Right.
creating like an own song, and it's not my single, right? Like I didn't compose it, so I don't know what is the intended.
Was it like a duet? Was he
It was a
singing
solo.
too? It
No,
was a
he
solo.
composed it,
Oh, he
yeah.
composed it. Okay.
So when he sent it to me, he sang it and sent it, and I guess I tried to
But he
replicate.
wanted a female singer, I assume.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of replicated in what I thought would, like in my mind, what I felt like it was
Mhm.
representing. But then we did a lot of takes, and he's like, "No, I want to feel your pain in this portion of the song. Bring out the pain."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think we started recording in September and we finished in January. So there was like a lot of back and forth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
His name is Sanjay Shiva. He's from Germany, and he like, I sang a lot of songs for
And
him.
double song.
Double songs, yeah. I
Nice.
sang a lot for him in that COVID time, those 2 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
So
Incredible.
I think
What was the song? What was the first song
it's
called?
called Tindal.
Tindal?
It's
Okay.
on Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing that I ever released on Spotify, right?
That's
So,
amazing. And when
something-
was this? 2020, 2021?
2021 probably.
So September 2020, you started working with him.
And
then
2021 we released it.
Released
yeah,
it. Okay. Incredible.
yeah. So that definitely like kickstarted my interest for like, oh, like I could put something on Spotify, or like maybe I could
Yeah.
make a song one day, or I guess like he gave me the confidence that I could actually create something.
Of course.
So
That's
Yeah.
incredible. So then let's fast forward to Masala Mixtape.
Mhm.
You were saying your first event
yeah.
performed.
So actually, right before Masala Mixtape, I forgot, I performed at TNF convention. So TNF, I don't
What
know
is
if you're-
TNF?
So you know what Fetna is?
Yeah, of course.
So Fetna is like the parent of Tamil Sangams, right?
Right.
So TNF is Tamil Nadu Foundation.
Okay.
They're kind of like a charity organization. All the events they put together fundraise for schools and education for children in India.
In India, in Tamil
Yeah.
Nadu.
So
I
each
assume.
state kind of has their own district that they like adopt. And do.
Okay.
So it was their national convention,
Nice.
and I got to sing with a playback singer. His name is Satyan.
Okay.
So that was my first actual like performance, I guess. But Masala Mixtape was a month right after that.
Okay.
And I remember seeing it on my TikTok for you page, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this seems like so much fun. Like what if I just sent them a message, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, if you guys like have another spot, like would you like my music, like check out my work? So I just sent them a message.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, the name is Shivaani. I sing all these songs, and I think I could bring some representation for some South Indian music.
Right.
And they liked my work, so they're like, okay, like we'll have you on board. So
It's sweet. Sweet.
that was really cool for me, and I think I really owe it to like that Andor team for kind of giving me my first event, first performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're great. They're
Yeah.
they're awesome at identifying new talent and really bringing cool experiences together, like Masala Mixtape.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think, I mean, there was no like, oh, you have to sing Bollywood music or anything, right?
Mhm.
They've given me the freedom for what I want to sing.
Oh, amazing.
So I really wanted to use that stage to sing Bollywood, obviously, because I like Bollywood also.
Mhm.
But I was like, hey, like all these people are here to party. I know you guys know these Telugu songs and these Tamil songs, so
Right.
I'm just gonna sing it for you, and I know you're gonna have fun. And people did. Like I sang Arabic Kuttu and Uantava, like along with
Nice.
along with some Bollywood stuff like Rangi Sari and all of
Right,
those.
right.
But just
And
like
you did, I
including.
remember specifically, you did Zara Zara and Vasigara as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So that's Masala Mixtape is when that track was created for. So I
Okay.
reached out to my friend Sharon in India
Mhm.
and I was like, I really want to sing this song, but like I think you could make like a party mix to it.
Yeah.
So he made that for me
And
for that day.
combining the Hindi and the Tamil.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. So then we have like the Bollywood crowd, like the Hindi speaking crowd that's also like, oh, there's a Tamil version also to this
Right.
song.
Right.
And
Well, the original version,
yeah,
technically.
exactly.
Original version.
True.
Yeah.
So this it's nice. I really like being that representation. I guess I've never felt like, oh, like there's not enough Tamil people in this or there's not enough South
Mhm.
Indian people. Like
Mm.
I feel like I've always wanted to be that person.
Right.
Instead of like when I'm at an event, I'm like, oh, like there's no Tamil music here. I'm like, okay, what about like in the next event? Like I tried to make that and I tried to be
Yeah.
that Tamil person.
Yeah.
So
Which I think you pioneered with Masala Mixtape, because it's like, I don't think, from what I remember, there wasn't another Tamil or Telugu or South Indian performer.
there was, I think Akshara Singh. I think she's Kannadiga. I'm not sure.
Right.
But
But the songs weren't.
correct.
The
Yeah.
songs weren't in Tamil or Kannada at
Yeah.
that point, right?
As far as I know, I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure. But also that was the first Masala mixtape.
Right. Right.
So and I think last year they brought Anusha Savi also.
Yes.
She sang some Tamil music.
Right.
So but yeah, I guess like being part of the first Masala mixtape and
Yes.
I opened it that day. So like being able to open the show with South Indian music, Tamil music was very like close to me.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's like, we'll get into more of what you've done since then, because I think there's just like so much and it's incredible to see all the music you're creating and everything. But let's take a step back and would love to learn more, because you've told me before, right? Like your music journey started young, but also is very tied with dance.
Mhm.
So would love to know, it's like, what was the inspiration behind singing? Did you take classes? And how did your music journey in some sense get started?
Yeah. So my mom put me in Bharatanatyam and Carnatic music
Okay.
at like when I was like 5.
Oh,
I started
perfect.
learning from the same teacher.
Okay.
That's kind of what
Oh,
started.
the same teacher taught both.
Taught both, yeah.
Okay.
Like when we were in our apartment, it's like way back.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember it honestly at that age.
Yeah.
But I just remember like I would like see all our home videos like sometimes, and I'm just like jumping around, dancing, singing random tunes.
Before
like-
the classes or
Yeah, like
during?
before.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, makes sense. Why? My mom was like, okay, let's put her in this.
Dance and music.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I'm really glad for that. I think my parents have spent so much time, just like as any parents do for all their kids' hobbies, right? Like
course.
just driving you to class and making
Yeah.
you practice. But yeah, so I grew up only doing Bharatanatyam and Carnatic for a long time. Like with classical like parts, a lot of time you try not to like do non-classical things
Mhm.
within the schools. Like
Yeah.
it's like, okay, just do Bharatanatyam, don't do like other things. Or
Right.
just do Carnatic, don't sing film songs. And I think that's
course.
important when you're younger to kind of like build that foundation.
Mhm.
And
So
I,
you did just primarily Carnatic.
Yeah,
growing up.
yeah.
Okay.
and
I did also Carnatic. I don't know if we're talking.
oh
about
really?
this.
Okay, I didn't know.
Like 12 years.
Okay.
And then
12
my
years ago or 14?
no, for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
And then my voice broke.
Oh no.
And then my teacher, great teacher, really loved her, Pramila auntie.
Uh-huh.
She also like lived a few doors down to the apartment
Mhm.
complex. But then once my voice broke, then we tried to switch teachers, it didn't work out, and I just stopped singing. But sorry.
No, I've heard
Yeah.
I've heard stories like that
Right.
as well. And I think like even as a girl, sometimes people don't realize that like your voice changes and so your singing
Mhm.
style changes.
Mhm.
And I faced a lot of trouble at that time too. So I'm like, okay, now I have to kind of switch how I sing.
Right.
What do I do?
And it was so Carnatic at the time.
When I was younger, definitely. Yeah. It was
Okay.
really on and off. So that's why I wouldn't consider myself like a Carnatic expert.
Okay.
But
Do you
Wait.
do like an Arangate? What is
I
it?
did a Bharatanatyam.
Bharatanatyam Arangate.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not for music.
Not for music.
So like once I got a little older, I'd say like elementary school age, we were just watching a lot of movies. Right? Like I didn't grow up watching like Kal Ho Na Ho or like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Like those are things I got into much later in my life.
Right.
Like we grew up watching like Jeans and Vasul Raja,
Of course. Of course.
Day, all
Right.
of these things.
Right.
So like all of those songs were always like etched in my
Mhm.
brain.
Mhm. That's like OG A.R. Rahman,
Yeah.
Ilayaraja a little bit,
Yeah, a
Nick
little bit.
Christian, SBB, like
Even like the Harris Gerard's era.
Right.
Getting into that. And,
slightly Hariharan too, right? Probably.
yeah, probably like towards the end of it.
Or, yeah.
So I think then when I got into high school, that's when I first started singing film music. In
Okay.
9th grade, I did a competition with our like local Tamil Sangam. It was
Mhm.
like a singing competition. And I was like, okay, I'll learn some film songs. I was like, I really found it like so fun to learn that and like
Mhm.
the process of learning a song. That's when I had like started
Right.
to like kind of
This is
admire
like middle school, you said.
ninth grade.
Ninth grade. Okay.
Yeah, or eighth. I'm not sure. Yeah, eighth,
Okay.
ninth. And I learned a couple songs like Akam Bakam and some other cute songs. I can't remember what they were.
Nice.
And yeah, and then we got into ISA. I think this is like the place where I feel like I started doing that like representation thing.
I says college. Sorry?
ISA in high school. So ISA
Oh,
like
okay.
Indian American Student Association.
Oh, you
Um,
guys had a club in high school.
yeah, we had a club in high
Oh,
school.
nice. Okay.
And my junior year is when they started it for the first time.
Nice. Okay.
And so I remember there were like some 7 or 8 like dances genres, right? Like Bollywood, senior fusion, some
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do South Indian. Let me choreograph this.
Yeah.
And there were like 6 people that signed up for South
Okay.
Indian. And that was obviously much less than the people that were in the other dances.
Right.
And I remember being like, it's okay. Like if there's less people, like I really want to do this.
Of
And
course.
like I want to be the person that just starts it, or else like if nobody starts it, like, you know, we're just never gonna have a South Indian, you know.
Right. Right.
And all my South Indian friends joined it, and you know all of that.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and I
Do you guys have like a show or anything that you guys
yeah,
did?
we have like a end of the year show,
Nice.
and we also like in the second year of it, my senior year, we had the opportunity. Like they asked, oh, does anybody want to sing? Also, like we want to have things in between.
Nice.
So I sang the song from Deva Tirumaga,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, okay, I only knew Tamil songs at that
Why
time.
that song? Out of curiosity.
I don't know. I think I had really liked that song at that
Okay.
time, and I was trying to learn it.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me like try to perform it so I'll like actually learn it.
Right.
And I remember at that time when I finished singing, I was like, wow, like I just sang a Tamil song in my Isa. Like, what is happening? And I just did a South Indian like choreographed dance also. So I was
The
really like,
representation is coming alive.
yeah. And
Yeah.
my sister went to the same high school as I did, like a few years later. And when she was in these dances and she was choreographing it, there was some like 20, 30 people in South Indian by then. And I was like,
Okay.
wow, when we started it, there was literally 5 people.
5
Like,
people. Right.
it's just like small, like we're to see like
That's
that kind
amazing.
of thing. Yeah. I think after high school, then college happened. And when I was on my Desi acapella team, that's when I kind of started actually training in like
Okay.
non-Carnatic stuff.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize like there were different ways to sing film music. You can't just sing film music because you know Carnatic music
Right.
either.
Right.
So yeah.
That's incredible. So it sounds like, not in a bad way, it's like the songs you started with, right? Carnatic, of course, is more like flowy, slower, and then it's like the film songs were also more, some sense like the like melodious songs. How did you now like get into like just? I feel like all your songs are just like super energy. Like at the double meetup you
Yeah.
did, well, Arabic. You said Arabic with that Masala
Yeah.
mixtape. Double meetup, you did Kavalaya,
Yeah.
right? Like, how did this transition?
Yeah.
Or do you even see it as a transition? Or how do you view that?
I actually like this question. I never thought about it for myself,
Right.
but now that you bring it up, I think another like the reason I kind of transitioned into it is because I think I accepted it
Okay.
more like, oh, like these songs are nice too. Like I think growing up with the songs were always like it's just like a South Indian thing. And I never
Mhm.
felt like they were cool enough, even though like I vibed to like all the Dhanush and Simbu songs growing up.
Yeah.
But like in school, I would never talk about it, right? We'd only talk about the Bollywood songs and things
Mhm.
like that. And once I started to get on it's like a slight tangent, but it's related,
Yeah.
right? I was part of this dance company in my hometown. It's
Okay.
called Matangi's Dance Company.
Okay.
And at that time is when I started getting into Instagram and kind of seeing these people on YouTube,
Nice.
like dancers like Ritika Vishwant. I don't know if you've seen her.
Mhm.
She's like one of the first Instagrammers, YouTubers that I started to follow.
Nice.
And I was like,
and
wow,
she's
like,
double.
like people in India.
Oh, in
Yeah.
India. Oh, right. Okay.
In India or UK. When I started my Instagram page, that's what it was like. There's nobody in the US, but like UK, Toronto, India, like they have so many people.
Right.
So that's when I started to see it. I'm like, oh, like people like this music. Like they just like don't know it here because nobody does it.
Yes.
And at that time when my dance company started, so when she had started it in our hometown,
Mhm.
and that's the kind of music she would teach us, right? We danced to like Mari and like things like that.
Of course.
And I was slowly trying, like getting into like what do you say? Like I was slowly accepting that people like this kind of music too. And Kutta music isn't weird. Like it's
Yes.
not just something that I liked growing up. Like it's something that people actually dance to. And it's like an actual dance style.
Right.
And just going older and out of college and now, like seeing like Arabikutu was so well received. Uwantawa was so well received by like a pan-India audience, right? And I think those songs really made me feel like, okay, I could sing a more hype song and people would like it as long as I'm having fun and I'm performing it in that way.
Right.
Because those are the songs that I love most.
Yeah.
Right.
We're sitting at home listening to it on our car rides, like showers. It's like, that's a song we're vibing to.
Yeah,
you know?
literally.
Yeah.
Like when I'm driving, I'm listening to audio hits.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So yeah, and I think I really like that with Tamil Meetup, when you guys were like, we wanna have a performance during the party. And I was like, I have to sing Kawala. Like this song just popping right now.
It just came out, right? At
Yeah.
that time. It was like 3-4 months before that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the movie came out, I think, on the same
In
time.
August or something. Yeah, I think so.
Correct. So I was like, I have to sing this song. And
Okay.
I was also getting like, I think a lot of singers girl singers that I talk to resonate with this, where like, if you can't sing like Chitramo or Shreya Ghoshal, like, are you really singing is a thing. Well, like girls
That's
with like
fair.
a little deeper voice, it's kind of like, it's not as accepted in
Okay.
film music, like film music singing.
Mhm.
Whereas like with English music, it's
Yeah.
completely different.
Of
Like
course.
they sing completely with their chest voice.
Mhm.
And coming to terms with that was really tough when I was starting to learn. So I was like, I really like to sing, but I can't sing like in that range. So that's why I like doing covers, because I can pitch it down to what I find comfortable
And
and I
your
can
own
make it
flair to it.
in my own way. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I can play keys to it. I can do my own thing. And these kind of energetic songs are more in that range. And I think that was also a reason why people like, I felt like, oh, with like family friends and things like that. In Tamil songs, they probably don't want to listen to someone singing that in a Tamil song.
Sure.
But like our generation is not like that. They're more like welcoming to these things and
Right.
Yeah.
And open to accepting. It's like we grow up, right, in what I consider like being third culture kids. It's like we at home in many cases are Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, and that exposure to that culture is there. They're South Indian, but then outside it's like, okay, we're like grew up in America or in the Western world, and it's like, yeah, you don't see that in the outside, especially growing up. But it's like now it's a fusion. So we've heard English songs, we heard the different styles, and it's like, how can we blend them? Because I feel like, to your point, a lot of your music is like your own take to those songs, which I think is like amazing, because it's a blend of what we experience across multiple genres of music.
Yeah. And I think when you pitch down songs, sometimes it gives it a more Western flavor, which we're also more comfortable with, like growing up with songs here, right?
Right.
So that definitely helps with that. Yeah.
Now I have to ask, okay, so if you were to look back on your music journey, right, but like think about like listening to music, it's like, what are the songs that stand out to you? I know you mentioned a few, but I'd love to know.
Let's see. I was really obsessed with like, what do you say? What movie is it from? From Pokri, the Dole Dole song.
Oh, Dole Dole, yeah.
I danced to it once.
Okay.
And like for me, right, like listening songs was more dancing songs when I was younger. That song and also Barsori, but Tamil.
Okay.
Barsori.
Okay.
Those were songs that I listened to a lot when I was younger.
Nice.
Yeah, more of also like an era of one person, like growing up. So yeah, and I remember even dancing to the Tamil version of Barsori. That was the first time I ever danced to something.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't even know there was a Hindi version at that time, right? I hadn't heard Hindi version of Guru or like the Tere Bina album. I'm not sure. Or Jodak, or all these songs. I remember going into high school being like, wow, you guys have Hindi versions of this? And you think that that's like the actual version? Like, which for some of the movies it is. But they don't know that there are like other versions too. Like Telugu versions are there too, you know?
Of course. Yeah. I think to that point, it's interesting. I was in talking and you will see this and people will see this in the podcast. We've talked about this a few times, because now the acceptance of when, let's say you put Bahubali on, right? Like I think Bahubali was that first pan-India movie where like, even when it came to street, like when it was in theaters for sure, there was a Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, maybe Kannada, and definitely a Hindi version.
Yeah.
And then in the streaming sites, they have all the different versions as individuals. And the best part is all those scenes were recorded by pan-India artists in some regard, both Tamil, Telugu, who spoke both. It wasn't like a dubbing artist. It was them speaking in a different language because they can. Right. And I think it's like with RRR and all the KGF and all these like pan-India movies, now it's getting more accepted. And with Javan coming out as like the big one, right? Yeah. I think that's interesting. So do you see yourself now, right? Like you've kind of sung in both parts, like, or multiple languages at this point. Where do you see yourself as just still like, in some sense, a pan India singer? Or are you Tamil singer, Telugu singer? What do you see yourself as?
Mm, I guess kind of stays the same where
Okay.
like I want to push the Tamil music where I can.
Okay.
Like when I'm performing, I always want to slide in a Tamil song and a Telugu song.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that I don't want to sing Bollywood because I
Mhm.
like that music. Like music is music,
Right. Of course.
It's just giving representation to the language, but
Right.
I still enjoy singing Bollywood music.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna definitely continue doing that going
Nice.
forward. And this, I guess, like the Sarigama thing is its own thing because that's only Tamil music.
Yeah.
Which allows me to put that kind of content out.
Uh-huh.
But I'm never gonna not sing Hindi.
For sure. For sure. Well, since you mentioned it, let's go into that. So you talked about Masala Mixtape, and that was what, 2022,
Yeah,
right?
2022.
2022. So what's happened since then? Of course, we had the privilege of having you perform at Tamil Meetup. And then since then, you're working directly with Saregama. So talk us through what your quote unquote music career has been since your first official performance.
Yeah. So Masala Mixtape was 2022 May.
Right.
And then I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh yeah, I did a couple like private events.
Okay.
In the next like year that was after that with either Tamil Sangams or like a temple or some spot like brands that wanted singers, something like that.
Right.
And that's when I started to be like, okay, you know what? I really want to put out covers on Spotify.
Okay.
And I think I was just like, there's no way for me to do it because I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to produce. I didn't know how to mix or master. But I was just like manifesting it so hard that I really think that this happened because I manifested that so hard. And it's something that I've always wanted to do, put a cover out on Spotify.
Yeah.
And to have like a label like Saregama Tamil reach out for that. Yeah. It happened with that Vasigara track.
Nice.
Because, right. Because when we created it for Masala Mixtape, it was just for Masala Mixtape. Right. It was, just for fun. But Sharan, the guy that created it, ended up being in contract with them for like a different type of series. Okay. So he used that as one of his releases. And he's like, hey, let's like record it. I know we did it for the program, but let's record it. Let's put it out. I'll add it as one of my repertoire things.
Incredible.
So they found me through that and they were like, hey, we like this singer. Right. Like, we want to do it.
So that's your first ever recorded song you did?
For like a cover.
Cover. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then they reached out and now we've put out 2 songs so far. Okay. The third one I just submitted. It'll be out next month.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I like just kind of taking the liberty to actually put out songs that I listened to growing up, right? Like Something and like Dum Dum Dum, like all these movies like growing up would watch. But you don't know that if you put out a cover to the song, people know this song. Will they know this movie? Will like the non-Tamil audience like it? But now I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't even matter if they don't know the song. I'm putting it out there, Saregama. Like, I'm doing what I like. Yeah. So.
And you're creating reels. I mean, for the latest one, I forget, what was this 2 songs that you did?
It was Attam Varuvahan from Dum 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 and Yaro Yaro Di.
Yaro Yaro Di. Yeah. I mean, the reel looked incredible.
Yeah.
And it was, you said that you shot that, right?
I
here in New York,
too. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you edited that and then you put that out and that one was just amazing. Yeah. Right? Like your voice came out and it still had the feel of those songs, which I like distinctively remember. Dum Dum Dum. Dum 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 would like play every few months at home and we'd watch it. It's just like epic Madhav and Jyotika, like just banger movie, right? With the songs.
Such an underrated movie. I love that you like know this movie.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know all the songs and Vivek comedy is like subtle in that too, right? And that just like incredible. And then Yaro Yaro Di is like great as well. I mean, that's just
the whole album.
Exactly. Again, Madhav and Banger.
Yeah.
But you had your own flair to it.
Yeah.
So how is that like? How did that come about? Like, what was the process of creating that song?
Yeah.
There.
I guess with that one, I want to take 1 second to talk about the first one and then go into this. Cool. I really wanted to start with something that was kind of like an ode to like my initial covers because I used to just sit in front of my keyboard and come up with something and post it. So that first one, I was like, no production, no nothing. Let me use my keys and I'm going to just put like a unplugged version.
Well, the first one is
from something.
Okay.
And so that like I play the keys myself, so it's not as like professional, but it's like an ode to the initial covers, And then for the second one, I was just going through a list of songs and I was like, Atta Varuvaha, Yaro Yaro Di. Like I could see those going well together.
Yeah.
And I really like creating mashups and I've done a lot in the past with my covers. And I think I was like, okay, I have to do a mashup. Like, how could I not do a mashup in the series?
Right.
And I DM'd Streamix because of that. And I was like, I've always wanted to work with him as well.
Mhm.
He is a pioneer in his own
Of
ways.
course.
And that's something I manifested as well. I didn't tell him that because I didn't want to like fangirl too hard, but now it's out in the public. But I was like,
Heard it here first.
I was like, doing something with him would be so cool.
Right.
And his mixes have always been something I've just like listened to so much in college.
Mhm.
And I was like, hey, I have this idea. I want to put these two songs together.
Yeah.
He didn't even ask for anything. He's like, let's do it. Like, I want to do more demo stuff.
Right.
So we hopped on call and we kind of outlined, like I kind of mentioned I want these specific parts from the song, but he really put that together and he sent me like a template. And it was like, initially he sent me a template with the original song. So just had it in order and
Okay.
yeah, props to him really for bringing that like actual mashup part together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And I wanted to, for like the singing part,
Yeah.
again, with my covers, I want it to be like the original, but I also want it to always have my own thing. And that's why I think kind of making it produce like with Streamix was a big thing. Like I didn't want it to sound like a filmy song. It had to have our like own style to it.
Right. And it wasn't just like the backtracks cut next to
Right.
each other, right? It's like a new set, like a new song that you created as a mashup.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you choose those two songs? I'm curious.
I don't know. I just like them. I think when I saw the songs like in my list,
Okay.
I just kind of heard them playing together.
Mhm.
So it just like I didn't really think like what song would go well with this song, but when I saw them together, I was like that they would go well together.
They would go well together,
And
right?
I think that ear is something that I developed in my Desi acapella team, right? Like
Yeah.
like hearing two songs together and
Right.
like mashups and stuff. So yeah, no other reason. And I thought it'd be cute to have like a Kalyana mashup kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you
of course.
So
Yeah, we should get a bunch of all the Tamil weddings and stuff to be playing that song.
I mean I hope so.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Maybe for your wedding you can play with something.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I would want to have like, it would be a lot of Tamil songs.
Yeah.
It's like Sutti Sutti, like from
Oh, I
Padiyappa.
love this song.
What a song. I would just definitely have that in
Yeah.
the reception. I actually, so a side note, this will be a tangent, but related, is in Houston 2 or 3 weeks back when I think we had talked about this at some point, but it's like a full Tamil wedding that I went to. And it was two friends of mine from Seattle. It was a beautiful wedding. It was at the Sri Meenakshi Amman temple. And it's just like one beautiful temple. And it's like built like as a Tamil temple, like you would expect. You walk into it and you'd not know the difference between that and like being in a temple in South India.
Like the stonework.
Stonework, everything. And then they had like a mandapam on the side with like, and then we did like a reception on a different location, but it was like we, as friends of the groom and bride, all the friends on both sides, everyone around our age, we did like essentially like an 8-minute set, all Tamil songs that we learned and danced with. Yeah. And so like, I think one of the songs are Yaro Yaro Di, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Classic wedding song.
Classic wedding song. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Right. But now I'm thinking it's like, that song needs to be played everywhere.
So hopefully there's a day where people are like, oh yeah, it's my wedding reception. I want to dance to that remix.
That remix, right? Exactly. Okay, I have an idea.
One can dream.
Yeah, it'll happen. We're manifesting it here. But I have an idea. Just came to me on spot. Probably, I don't know. We'll cut this out maybe depending on what you think. Okay, I have an idea. It's like, imagine a reel, TikTok reel mashup where it's like your song. Okay. And I see a lot of these. So have you seen on Instagram and maybe they're on TikTok, but it's like oldest Tangam. He like creates. Yeah. I forget what the exact handle is, but you know what
Oldest Tangam, yeah.
Oldest Tangam, right? Yeah, oldest
I
gold,
love
right?
your page.
Yeah, that page is great. But what he does is like he'll have like new songs and stuff on like movie tracks.
Oh, yeah.
But imagine yours with like a hyped up, sped up version of Madhavan falling in love with Jodhika, Madhavan falling in love with what's her name? Shalini. Yeah, right. In both movies, and it's like your cut, your
like
song.
the film.
Yeah, the film.
Video.
Yeah. That could be cool.
That'd be cool. We'll see. Maybe I can collab with you. I'll send him a message.
Yeah, send him a message. Right, exactly. Yeah, he's great. Need to reach out to him at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing. Okay, so now I'm curious. So I tried to scroll back, and you have a lot of posts in a good way on Instagram. What was your first ever cover Tamil song or cover in general? Do you remember?
I think. Oh yeah, I do remember. It was Wuvukul.
Wow.
And I sang that song like everywhere I could. So I just stopped singing it after my mom was like, "You sung this song enough." But I initially posted it on like before I had the music page. I just posted it on like Facebook or whatever because I was like, okay, let's make a cover.
Nice.
And then when I created the music page, I just reposted it.
You reposted it. Okay.
And I did like a Mother's Day one. I think with my sister, we sang one. It was with Lel Dinamum,
Nice.
that the mother song.
Nice. So your sister sings too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
She's
incredible.
on the same team now. So,
Oh, okay. Really?
the lineage.
Yeah. It has to go that way. That's incredible. So when did you start like posting on Spotify? What'd you say?
The Vasigra wasn't first. Tindal was the first one. The one with Sanjay Siva.
Right. Okay.
That was the first one. And I did about like 2 or 3 more for.
Okay.
Yeah. And then covers Vasigra with Sharon. That was the first.
Sharon. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I want to post more though. I mean, I don't know if I have the creative juices for like creating like a single on my own, but like it's there somewhere, in the future. I want to create my own song.
We're manifesting it.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
You
Everything is happening on this.
Everything is happening in this podcast,
Yeah.
in this apartment, on this couch. It's like, it's happening.
Yeah.
We're going to hear first.
When it happens, we're going to come back and watch this.
Exactly. Come back, and then we're going to record the next episode with, let's break down your story, right?
Oh,
yeah. That's incredible. But like, now I'm curious, what would you say is next? Like, what's on this musical journey or on this creative journey? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Here?
Right now, I think like I was kind of in a learning phase. When Sarigama reached out to me, I was like, is this too early? Like, I don't want to do anything prematurely, Like, if you get handed something that's really great prematurely, like sometimes you don't feel ready for it. And I don't want to like ruin the opportunity or anything.
You can always put it on a pause and then come back to it when you're ready. But yeah.
Right. But for this case, it's like, do you want to do this or do you not want to do it?
Yeah.
So I think along with it, I'm still in like a learning phase. I'm trying to kind of learn different techniques on how I can sing in different ways, like properly. Because I never learned film music, right?
Oh, sure.
So I'm kind of in like a learning journey right now.
Okay.
And I want to put more time into that because I think when that foundation is stronger, you can sing like more things. You don't have to like, what do you say? There's not like much stopping you in between.
Sure.
And I guess like an end goal, I really do want to sing for a film at some point. Like that would just be like a nice resume point and nice, like, it's like a full circle, because that's what has started that love for it. So
like a Tamil movie or a Telugu movie or something.
Yeah.
Or a Tamil movie specifically.
Yeah, I think anything. I mean, if some opportunity comes my way, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, of course.
But also, I did say end goal, but I don't think that's an end goal either, right? Because like music is not my career. It's kind of, I have my software developer job so that I can fund my hobby, right? It's always going to be a part-time thing as far as I see it now.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully if I can sing in some movie for someone, or if I could just put out more covers, just more chances to create. That's like doing it for fun. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's amazing. So now another question I have, just kind of breaking down everything you've told me in terms of your story. It's like, you said you started with dance, you did Bharatanatyam, you did Arangetram, and then it's like you've gone into this hobby of music as like, there's like so much here.
Yeah.
I'm curious, was it never like, did you ever consider like doing dance or dance content and like, that type of stuff?
Instead of music?
Instead of music?
Yeah. So when I started my page, I specifically called it Shivaani Music instead of Shivaani Sing, which I was thinking of, but I was like, I want to call it music because I want to put dance content too.
Nice.
So initially I had like a lot of dance content. Like I had been posting with my sister, or like any workshops I went to, I would post the video from that. But then slowly I was like, okay, the dance content is fun to post and it's kind of like an archive for myself.
Yep.
But if I want to actually do something in music, I want to focus my energy in one way. Maybe on TikTok, I'll post dance.
Sure.
But on Instagram, I want to focus on just posting music. So if someone comes to my page, they'll know that I dance because I'll pin one dance video just so they know. Like, so if it comes out from somewhere, they're not like, oh, what the heck, she dances.
Yeah.
I still get that, even though like I pinned it, I talk about it all the time. But
on your Instagram,
on my Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
So I was just like, okay, let me just channel my energy towards this. And with dance, I just like being a learner. I like going to the workshops.
Right.
I like creating like reels and like doing fun things. But I think it takes a lot more energy for me. And since I've just done it growing up, like I'm more connected to like the Bharatanatyam side of that. So with singing, it's like I can take my own liberty and sing film songs and all these. So
yeah. So essentially what I'm hearing, right, is your creative juices have flowed through music in some sense, where you're creating new creations, or
yeah, I don't know about that. It's more like like I could do dance or music if I chose, but it felt like I was kind of having like one foot there and one foot here. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm like, let me just focus on
Focus.
one
Okay.
and I'll still do the other one
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for me, I feel like there's more scope as a singing creator than a
Yeah.
dancing creator.
Okay.
Yeah. And so far it's been good, right? Like the opportunities I've been getting,
Yeah.
like singing at Double Meetup also,
Yeah.
right? That's not something that I like singing in Midtown, like in front of Times Square, you know,
Yeah.
like there's so many people there and everybody vibing to it.
All right.
Wasn't even on the bucket list.
Yeah, absolutely. But it happened.
It happened.
We're
Yeah.
here. We're here.
So I'm doing something right.
Nice. Nice. Sweet. Well, let's talk about that. How was that experience for you? Singing there. And I think when we were talking about it, it's like, that was what I've seen. It's like the first Tamil performance,
Mhm.
like for like just artists like this in America.
Yeah.
Because they do it a lot in Toronto and
Yeah.
London and other parts of Europe. And of course in Asia and India and Malaysia and stuff. But I think in the US, this is the first time. And it's not like a Tamil Sangam event where it's like, hey, it's like a show or Pongal show. It's like,
Yeah.
this is like a party at a nightclub.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Yeah. And I think arrambam is like close to heart because of that, right? It's that third space, like you guys say. It's not a Tamil Sangam, even though we grew up with it.
Yes.
Maybe we don't exactly fit in there. So I think I went to one Tamil meetup party before that in the summer. And I remember entering, and I think that song from that, I think it was in Apple.
Oh, yeah.
Veena Kumari.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Kumari.
It
Yeah.
was that song that was playing when I entered, and I was like, oh my God, this is the place. Like, and somehow we got downstairs, and that was like a whole struggle in itself. And like, it was so
Because it
fun.
was a crowded. That was the biggest crowded, most crowded event we've ever had. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because you had 2 floors for that one.
We had
Yeah,
2
yeah.
floors for that one.
That one was so fun. And we stayed the whole night. I was like, you don't think that you could just play film music all night and people would be there, but they are there, and there are people that want that.
Until 4 a.m.
Until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was huge. And when you had asked me to perform at the one in October, I mean, obviously I was very happy because I had a great time attending it. And I knew that I had songs that like I could have fun with and I could hype up the crowd with. And I mean, you guys gave me the liberty to do whatever song I wanted also. And I got to sing the Vasigara track again.
Of course. I forget, you just did Vasigara. You didn't do a Zara Zara mix, right?
Yeah, I actually sang just Vasigara. I sang both of the stanzas in Tamil.
Right.
Because I mean, it made sense.
It made sense, of course.
So it's a karaoke in the end. So it's me singing it. I think that's one thing that I like to do. Whereas like, instead of having like the song playing in the background and singing it, I know sometimes with performances, sometimes it makes sense to do that. But I kind of, even though it's hard, I like doing the karaoke of it.
And it just feels more natural and the crowd is in it.
Yeah.
Because you can pause and then people start singing too. It's hey.
They were singing. I think the part of the reels that I posted, like I watch it all the time because first of all, I can't hear myself too well from the angle that the camera was taken.
Yeah.
But like at some point I'm just like singing and the whole crowd is singing along and I'm like, people like this music, man. Like, why don't we play this in more like normal like Bollywood clubs?
Yeah.
But no, I had so much fun. And there was just like this group of like girls in the front and I was like singing to them and they were singing to me and I was like, this is so wholesome.
Yeah. I mean, you can see in the videos because the videos really captured it well. Where it's like you would sing, the video would pan over, the girls go crazy in the front, then you'd go crazy. You're just like, energy was so real.
Yeah. And how you guys brought up the flashlights for Vasigara, I was like, I think I felt like I was like living my dreams. Like I think I was a huge Hannah Montana fan. Growing up, we had the Hannah Montana game on Wii and everything.
Oh, nice.
We'd dress her up and we'd go like do the dance moves when she'd sing. And I literally felt like I was living that dream life because I get to dress up when I perform. And then everybody's singing with me. I danced a little bit.
You were in a sari,
I was in a sari. Yeah, I did like a fusion-ish something for it. I didn't want to pull up in a full-out sari also and not be able to dance there. Yeah, and also the environment was nice that I felt like I could dance and not make like a fool of them.
I mean, it was a great environment.
So yeah, I want to do more. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm excited. And I think the one in April with Sai Shiva coming through, it's going to be very similar. And, probably more hype even, right? Because he has like his own songs that he's bringing.
Of course. And all his songs are just like mass energy.
Yeah.
Right? And then Vidushan and Superbeat.
Yeah. Both of their songs as well. Like, I feel like these were some of the guys I started following like initially, right? Because they were the guys that were posting on Instagram.
Yep.
People in UK and Europe. And now to see that like their songs or something just like that I knew, but
Yeah.
rather like, oh, people listen to this song. Like
Right.
I love their song.
Right.
So I'm excited to hear it live.
It'll
Yeah.
be incredible. I mean, I've told you, right? So the New York show is going to be fun because all three of them, first time in New York, first time in America performing. And then Sai Shiva is dropping his third album at the end of March. And
Okay.
our show will be his first time ever performing his new album live in the world.
Wow.
So it'll just be like everything's coming together and
Yeah.
it'll just be like a mass event.
The pioneer of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And then Ram and a few other DJs,
Yeah.
right? Like probably like Sahan and others are going to come and just kill the dance floor the
Yeah.
rest of the night. So
Yeah, you have to give it to them also, right? Because they like unapologetically play all the Tamil songs that
of
they
course,
love.
of course.
And I love that. I love it for them that they have the stage to do that also,
Right.
you know? Because like you go to some Bollywood parties and maybe they'll be able to play like one or two,
Yeah.
but like the audience wants it and they want to play
Yeah.
it too. And like, so
I think everyone's getting more comfortable. So like Ram and Sahan specifically, they do Desi Dardi, right?
yeah.
And I went to the last Desi Dardi and they did the last two sets and they had other DJs doing other sets throughout the night. And they were playing Tamil songs and Telugu
Really?
songs. And
Okay.
it was awesome.
That's good. That's good.
But here and there, but
Yeah.
like, I hope like things like Tamil meetup and the Telugu meetups and other things have made people, because most people who attend are Tamil Telugu or Malayalam Kannada, but a lot of like South Indians and non-Browns attend too. And so it's like, hopefully we're giving it like, hey, these songs exist, they're a vibe.
Yeah.
You guys can listen to them. And it's like, it'll be incredible at normal parties too.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally understand where they come from. Where like, I mean, if you are a primarily Hindi speaking family, then
Of course.
obviously you're going to be listening to Bollywood growing
Of
up,
course.
and parties and events are all going to be playing
Yeah.
Bollywood music.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have our, like, even if we don't get as integrated,
Yeah.
you know, like 50-50, like I don't even know if I expect that because
Yeah.
the majority of the population may not even be Tamil or Telugu.
Someone is
But the fact that we have our own community for it, you know, so when we want to, we can come back and we can party to
Of
these
course,
songs.
of
and,
course.
you know, connect with people. Like I wouldn't have even met people like you or Shanti or
Yeah.
Krish or anyone
Right.
without this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad we can bring people together.
Yeah.
Because it started from just like making friends. I just wanted to make more Tamil
Yeah.
friends.
I remember seeing your first reel on Instagram. Like somebody, you probably posted it.
I
I don't
posted
know.
it,
Yeah, and somehow it got on my For You page, and I tagged all my friends. I'm like, there's a Tamil party, and we missed it. Like we're going for the next.
Yeah, and you guys did all come through.
We did come. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. Nice. So, since we're talking a lot about Tamil and Tamil community, one question I love to ask is, what does being Tamil mean to you? What does your Tamil community look like?
Yeah. I guess growing up here, right, our family is our friends.
Mhm.
So we don't have any like main, like our close relatives living in here.
Mhm.
So family parties and all of those things, the aunties and uncles, right? That was my Tamil community, right?
Mhm.
Like what are they talking about? What did they watch? What did they listen to?
Right.
And then slowly it became Tamil Sangam, performing in Tamil Sangam,
Yep.
dancing and all
Yep.
of that. And Isa was a huge stepping stone for that.
It's incredible that your high school had something like
Right,
that,
yeah.
right?
So that was huge to be like, okay, your non-Indian friends are also coming to watch it.
Of course.
And I guess in college is when I really started tapping into, oh, I'm Tamil. Like, why do I choose to like actively do this or like watch Tamil movies when now I do know Bollywood, and when I was younger I
Mhm.
didn't, right?
Mhm.
And same then and same now. I think it's just like, it's not even like, oh, it ties me back to my culture, but rather like it just is me.
Yep.
Like it's not like I'm an Indian American who's also Tamil. No, I'm a Tamil Indian American,
Right.
you know? So it's the language that I understand, that I speak. So the culture is very intertwined with it. Like we have Tamil
Mhm.
festivals, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Like you may not have, it's not necessarily like a Hindu festival, but you have Tamil festivals like Pongal and things like
Right.
that. Right.
Which at this point are like more cultural events. Right.
Exactly.
And they're not just religious.
Right.
Right.
Because Pongal is kind of like a Thanksgiving, right? It's kind of like a harvesting thing.
Of course.
And so that's tied to
For farmers.
Right. So that's tied to being Tamil, not just being Indian in that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just being able to speak the language and converse with people and being able to sing and do all of that is all a part of it.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. And so now it's like, do you see that where it's like you've grown into being Tamil more? Or, I mean, you always said it, it's like, or has that evolved for you? So you said Tamil, Indian American. Is that, would you say is that still true for you?
Yeah, I think when I was younger, it's not that I was more or less Tamil. It's that like I didn't really know that that was a thing or there was something other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you grow up, you meet people from different backgrounds
Yeah.
and you realize that like, oh, like there are people that are like you and there are people that are not like you also. So then I was like, oh, maybe I guess that's my identity. So even when I go and visit India, right, like the reason I could still gel there is because there's still some part of me that still relates to them culturally, even though I may not be the same as them there.
Yeah.
So now it's more like we said in the beginning, just about like embracing that, like this is what it is. This is what I like to listen to. This is what I like to watch. This is what I like to eat.
Yeah.
And everything. And even if you don't do that, like I'm still gonna continue to do that, and maybe you'll like it and you'll listen to my music, or maybe you just don't like Tamil music, and that's fine.
That's it. Yeah.
But I'm still gonna be okay with posting it and putting it out there.
Of course. Nice. So now let's talk about your creator journey, and we'd love to dig into that because first off, you mentioned you are a full-time software developer working, and then you're doing the creating, especially now like music and the songs on the side. So how has that journey been for you? And I'm curious how you've been able to balance it here.
Yeah. In the beginning, like pre-COVID, when I initially had my page, like I said, it was more for my own mental health and just posting things and setting aside a time for creative space. And I think like it's not hard because then I'm not really doing it for anything for others. I'm doing it solely for myself and just posting things. But into COVID, when I started to actually create like a network and putting out songs, and now, right, when I'm working, I really like doing it. And I like that my job gives me the freedom to have a hobby like this, right? Where I can financially or even like just putting in time for something.
Yeah.
But it's definitely hard to manage because like I get back from work and I'm just like, I just want to sleep.
Tired, yeah.
But
and you go in person?
I go in person 3 days. Yeah.
Okay, 3 days. Okay.
So yeah, that's why I try to like make it so if I want to record something, that's the day that I'm going to choose to work from home. So the second I log off, I just close this laptop and then start prepping for what I want to do. Yeah. So that work from home culture definitely enables me to do that. But otherwise, it's just putting in the time, even when I feel tired, and having like a community around you to support helps too, right? So you have friends to go see if you're feeling overwhelmed or things like that. But it's worth it. It's a lot of effort to put out like a Spotify cover versus like an Instagram cover that I used to do. And when it's out and I see it on the platform, I'm like, yeah, that was worth it. Like,
that's awesome.
Like it's under your name. And like, every time I hear it, I can think about like all the effort that went into it by me or whoever is producing it. And I remember that that's something that I was trying to manifest so long ago that I'm actually doing right now.
Yeah.
So balances out.
Right. It's a saying. I forget exactly how the saying goes, but it's like, hey, like 5 years ago, you would be so proud of wishing you could be doing the things you're doing today. You have the privilege of doing today, right?
I think incredible. A similar post like that comes up on my For You page all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
That's awesome.
So it's hard to get lost though, I think, with like numbers and like views and like going viral and like all of these things. But I think every now and then something will remind me to be like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm able to do it because I have this job that I choose to do to allow me to do this. So everything is with my choice. So I'm going to have fun doing it.
You're going to have fun doing it and you're going to continue to do more.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. And what I'm curious about as a part of that is how has the social media side been? Because I know either for a lot of people, that's like editing it's like kind of the hardest part of the puzzle, but in a good way too, right? How has that felt for you?
Yeah, I definitely agree because when I'm posting Instagram covers, it's more about like I feel like I don't listen to a song and just sing it. I need it to like kind of sink in me. That's my learning process. Like I listen to it like 50 times, maybe over the course of like a couple days.
Okay.
And then like it's a part of like, it's like it's like just reverberates and I can kind of sing it.
Right.
So with Instagram covers, that was kind of the process. Yeah. But with Spotify covers, now it's just created, right? Like that mashup, that mashup,
Right.
It's out there. I'm just not posting about it because I have to sit there. I have to find the right like place that I want to post? What do I want to put for the caption?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so it's definitely hard. Like there's something sitting there for me to just edit and post,
Yeah.
like I don't have to sing right now. I just need to edit the video and post it. Um, that definitely is hard, but random days at like 10 p.m. I'll be like, you know what, let's edit it right. And I'll edit it. So that's why when I see all your guys' posts, like you're posting for the community, you're not even posting your own content, right?
Mhm.
I know a lot of effort goes into that. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun because it's like, hey, I wish I was able, like, I want to see content like this. And it's like
Mhm.
any content we're posting is like, yeah, I would have loved to, I would love to see this.
Yeah.
I know my friends would love to see this who appreciate content like this. And that's why we're putting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a
Nice.
lot of podcasts from different channels,
Yeah.
but I think this is something I've not seen.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
glad to be a part of this.
Appreciate it. That means a lot. That
Yeah.
means a lot. So last question I have, and so related to your creator journey, is if you were to play yourself back 5-10 years ago and you're just starting your creator journey
Mhm.
in some regard, whatever that was, what advice would you give yourself? And in turn, this would hopefully be advice that other creators who want to get to places in different areas could use.
Mhm.
What would you say?
I think one thing that I'm glad I did
Yeah.
coming up is just reaching out to people.
Mm.
And at every stage of the different things that I've done, reaching out to people was the main thing, right? Like
Mhm.
for whether it was for Tindal, for the single with
Uh-huh.
Sanjay Singhal, just like reaching out to someone, talking to them, or Masala Mixtape, reaching out to them, or just anything like Tamil Sangams, anyone.
Yeah.
Like the worst that could happen is they just don't even see it. Or
Right.
even worse, they see it and don't respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's it. I
Which
think
is okay too, because you
which is
put
fine.
yourself out there.
It's just by chance.
Yeah.
Right. So I think one thing I'm really proud of that I've done is just like reaching out with like no shame and just being like, hey, I like doing this. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Or can I be a part of this?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do you like my music? Like
Right.
it's kind of hard. Sometimes it's really hard to like put yourself out there and ask someone like, if you like, do you like my music? If you like my music, but in the end, they're just a stranger. Like
Right.
if they don't respond to you. Yeah. One thing I guess I wish if I had done differently, um, maybe putting in more time to learn then.
Okay.
Because I never expected to actually do things with my music page. Like I said,
Mhm.
it started for some just mental health purposes. But
Sure.
if I knew that there was something I could get out of it, eventually I would have put in more learning then than like me putting in learning now. It would have
Okay.
definitely been easier in the beginning. But I mean, you gotta also trust yourself that you're doing something at a time because you think that's right. So I don't even know. I don't even think there would be anything that I would change, but rather just be
Sure.
happy for the way it ended up.
Yeah. Just do more. It
Yeah.
looks like, yeah.
If you can, to
If
your
you can.
ability,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right.
And reaching out, like I don't think I'm ever gonna stop that. Like even like let's say like one day like we manifested and we're going on tour with like Rahman or something, something like that.
Manifesting it here. Heard it here first.
Yeah, something like that is happening. Like that's still like no matter how big you get, like, it still shouldn't stop reaching out to someone and being humble about it. And
Right.
I think that's the foundation of it.
Okay. Nice. That's incredible. I think the outreach and that putting yourself out there is so underrated from the perspective that like you're creating all this stuff, but the world we live in, it's like algorithmic feeds and things. And it's like, yeah, you put it, some things go viral, some things don't. Maybe the right people don't see it, but it's like you putting yourself out there. It's like you creating a non-zero chance that you might get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, and to what you said, and I love what you said is like, if you don't, then you're guaranteeing failure. If
Right,
you
you're not
put it
getting
out
it
there,
anyway.
right, you're not going to get it anyway. If you put yourself out there, they see it or they don't see it and they don't respond. Okay. At least there was a chance they could have.
Yeah.
But now it's like, why would you guarantee your worst outcome? There.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say something. Forgot.
Okay. All good. All good.
But yeah,
Um,
even with because even with arrambam, I think the party that I was going to attend initially, I had reached out to you guys and I was like, hey, I have this song, can you guys play it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think you guys did play it at some point, but
Yeah, I sent it to the DJs were
Mhm.
Ram, Shreemix, and Bandit, like Abhishek.
oh yeah,
And so I think they played it at some point. I just don't know if you were at the party at
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
because we got in pretty late, but
Okay.
again, that was just reaching out to you guys,
Yeah.
and we kind of connected because of
Based
that
on that,
initially,
right, yeah.
And then I met you at the event,
Yeah.
And even for the Sarigama covers now, like I want to do it with people that I know and I want to
Mhm.
include them, but I also want to reach out to some people that don't follow me and are bigger and
Right.
just send them a message and see like, okay, are they going to collaborate with me on
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
So
Because they're, I mean, most of these creators, I mean, like we see them as bigger, quote
Mhm.
unquote, because it's like maybe their followers are bigger, but they're just like normal people like us,
yeah, yeah,
and they're just here to create because they love to do it.
yeah.
And yeah,
So if it's
that's a
something they think is
yeah.
interesting and they like what you do, then they'll
Yeah,
respond.
yeah, I completely forgot about that. I was actually going to be one of the next question I was going to ask it as I was thinking about it. Is like completely forgot how we met, and
Mm.
I realized, yeah, I remember you messaged saying, "Hey, I have this song.
Yeah,
Would you mind playing?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure."
yeah.
Right? And
I was so thrilled when I
yeah,
got the response. I was like, wow, like they responded and they
yeah,
said they'd like it and they'll play it.
all
Like,
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so for anybody watching this, feel free to message us. Like
yeah.
it's me, Shanti, or a few other people on the armband team. We're like always monitoring it, and it's like we are trying to like we also work full time, so it's like whenever we can we will respond. But we love that because it's like, hey, we want to see when creators like reach out and be like, hey, we want to put this out there. We want to
Mhm.
help other creators, especially Tamil creators, right? And then it's like also audiences. Like many people have said, hey, this is like a cool DJ. We should like
Mm.
maybe we should have at these parties, or this is a musician we should have. And I'm like, yeah, that's great because like some of these people I may have seen before, and some of these people we haven't seen, and it's like, okay, cool. Like let's tap
Yeah.
them into the community, and then
That's
I
how you
work here.
build it, right? Like by people
Yeah,
referring you and people telling you about someone
exactly,
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm
yeah,
glad we
hopefully
did
soon.
that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think through you also, we got connected with a bunch of other musicians
Mm.
who performed at the October meetup as well. So yeah, I think there's just so much
Yeah.
here. Nice.
And I mean, because you guys brought some people from Toronto also,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was really cool, right?
Right, right.
Because at that time I was like, wow, I'm like performing with people that like I used to watch on Instagram, right?
On
Like that
Instagram,
type
right?
of
Yeah,
community,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. I
for
mean,
sure, yeah.
Usher performed right next to you, and it's like he was incredible.
He was really good.
He was
And
really
you
good.
also brought another guy, right?
Minan.
Mm. He
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
he was the younger.
Yeah, he's more like Tamil guy doing like English rap
Mhm.
on his style, and he's also popping up. He's
Yeah.
doing some interesting stuff. So
So that was
that'll be
cool.
cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's more coming hopefully
Yeah.
soon, and we can do some interesting things that hopefully we'll reveal to the community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. But to that point, again, thank you again for joining us on
For
the
sure.
show. I have some final rapid fire questions
Okay.
that you don't know about that
Okay.
I did prep you on. But okay, so first rapid fire question is, what is, if you could say, favorite song of all time? What is that?
No.
Rapid fire, first song that comes to mind.
Definitely Nannare. Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
could do a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Like Barsori. Come on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice, nice. Okay, and then let's shorten the range in the last, let's say 2-3 years. What's a new song that's like caught your fascination?
Arabic because it was
Oh,
like
really?
like one of its first time
Okay,
that kind of came out like that.
okay, okay. So now, okay, I'm gonna add a few modifiers. What's your favorite song to sing?
To sing, Basigaro.
Masigra?
Obviously,
Really?
it
Okay,
wasn't. Yeah.
okay, okay, nice. And then, what's your favorite song to dance to?
Oh no, can't even like give you a quick answer.
Okay,
Probably like the throwback like Harris Jairaj songs
nice.
that they like play at our parties and stuff.
Okay,
Like
okay,
Surya songs, those
yeah,
kind of ones.
okay, sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, and then next question I was gonna ask is, and you mentioned this slightly, right, with the Instagram handle,
Mhm.
Shivaani Music. Why Shivaani Music? How did the name come about?
Mhm.
Why pick that? I know you said you didn't want to make it singing,
Mhm.
but like, what's the inspiration? Because that's like iconic now, right? Like whenever we're tagging you and stuff,
Yeah.
and we know it's Shivaani Music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really funny how it came about
Okay.
because sometimes like people that I've met on Instagram, like through Instagram, will call me Shivani Music. Sometimes I'm like,
Oh, really?
it's
That's
really funny. They'll be like
hilarious.
Shivani Music. What are you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny that that has stuck with some people.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in my acapella team, I had a friend named Shravya. She had created one. Shravya, I think hers is Shravya Music. Another girl had made it sings.
Okay.
And at that time, like those were the only things everybody was creating it. Their name underscore music, their name underscore sing. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's pretty much where it comes from. It's
Okay.
nothing like super creative or
Right,
anything.
right. You just saw everyone doing it. So,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because I had a different private account.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, now I'll just make it Shivaani_music.
which is your public account that you're posting all this content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my public is like my main one. So I
Okay,
just use it for
nice,
everything.
nice.
So nothing really creative around it. Other than that, I wanted it to be music because dance and singing both.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. Okay. And then the last rapid fire question is, we're in New York, live in New York, and you've lived here for a long time. If you could put anything on a billboard in Times Square that 1 million people or multi-million people will see every single day, what would you want to say? It can be a phrase, saying, images, photos, videos, whatever you want.
This might be kind of like cringe,
Okay.
but I'm really like an advocate for really being kind to others.
Okay.
And I hate when people are just like not kind to others. So I'd probably say like love others like you love yourself, or something like that.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Sweet. Well, again, thank you for joining us for this first season of the Arrambam show. And thank you for being like a part of a lot of Arrambam firsts. One of the first performers, right? And then one of the first on the show as well.
No, thank you. It's honestly like an honor and a privilege to do this, because never did I think I would do something like this and be a part of or see a community like this. So I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just the start, and you're helping trailblaze that way with all the content and music you're creating. So hopefully there's more to come.
Hopefully. I'm no professional in my thing, but I want to continue doing what I love. And if someone likes it, then they can follow me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm manifesting this before we wrap up the show here. Next episode we have you on is like some major milestone.
Oh, yeah.
Like your own single, like independent song or both, right? Like you sing in a movie or something like that.
Okay, we'll manifest it.
We're manifesting it here.
We're starting now. Yeah.
We're starting now. Yeah, it's going to happen. Now there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
On.
No, I appreciate the support for sure.
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you. Awesome.
Thanks,
Sweet.